teams would step to the head of the class. In the AFC, the new-look Steelers took their shot at old guard Buffalo, which wasn't so eager to yield the top spot. Yielding the top spot at Philly ran to watch as Jimmy Mack led the Eagles. And for the first time in a while, the Birds flew like it was September all over again. Defense took center stage in Kansas City, where the Chiefs ran smack into the Lightning Bolts. In Tampa, where the Vikings ran over the Bucs. And in New York, where one of the greatest ever may have played his final game. Home sweet home for Denver. John Elway throwing mile-high rainbows. The NFL flips into the second half of the season next on Primetime. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman. Welcome to Week 10 of NFL Primetime, steamrolling into the second half of the NFL season. And we certainly could not steamroll alone, now could we? Tom Jackson, Robin Roberts are here, as always, to tell you what we saw. Some of the things that we saw, let's go over the late scores first. Final from Buffalo, big game in the AFC. Highlights later, the Bills. Hold on, big game from Thurman Thomas. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 28-20. Jim Kelly, 3 touchdown passes. Phoenix Cardinals proved last week wasn't a fluke. They go into Anaheim and beat the Rams 20-14. 3-3 game at the half, but the Redskins finally do some scoring, and that's enough to beat Seattle. Up at Seattle, 16-3. 2-minute warning, the Broncos have the ball and an 11-point lead over the Jets, 27-16. And under 3.5 minutes ago, the Chiefs have the ball in their own territory. They've squandered a lead, and the Chargers now lead them at Arrowhead, 14-13, and we'll keep you updated on that, of course. We are all excited tonight because we kick off our Sunday night season. It's the Bengals at the Bears at Soldier Field. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann going to call all the games on Sunday night for us. Now let's go to Chicago and get a preview from them right now. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris. We're standing by for the 1992 premiere of ESPN's Sunday night telecast, the Bengals versus the Bears from Chicago. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick. Last week against Cleveland, Boomer Esiason had his best game of the season. He only threw for 192 yards, but 3 were touchdowns, and for a week at least, silenced the critics. In 1988 and 89, Esiason was among the NFL elite with more than twice as many TD passes as interceptions. But the decline began in 1990 as his INTs rose dramatically and his touchdowns plummeted. Boomer's quarterback rating has gone from first in the NFL in '88 to number 26 as we enter tonight's game. His production, the drop in it, has mirrored the Bengals' fall from grace. And Joe Theismann, I don't think there is any way to argue that the talent level on this ball club is the same as it was in the late 80s.
It really isn't, Mike. James Brooks is gone. Ickey Woods is gone. Eddie Brown has missed the entire year. As a matter of fact, the no-huddle offense has completely disappeared. Gone, at least for a while. Boomer Esiason has been forced to wear 2 hats, an on-the-field coach as well as their quarterback. When you take a look at the way the players are performing, for example, on this play, the outside receivers, you've got Tim McGee on the outside. Instead of releasing outside and turning the cornerback's back away from Boomer Esiason, he turns inside, allowing the cornerback to not only see the quarterback, but also Pickens trying to run an out route against him. See his head? He sees the receiver. He sees the quarterback. That makes it very difficult for Boomer to hang the ball up outside, has to throw it away. Everybody says Boomer Esiason missed an easy touchdown pass. Not the case. It was the receiver that caused that. I had a chance to talk to Boomer earlier today. I said, "Are you physically okay?" He said, "I'm absolutely healthy." But the truth is, something is different. He's a quarterback on a football team that was a veteran team. Now he's become a coach on a football team that's trying to learn the offense.
We'll see how those youngsters do tonight. Hope you'll join us for the Bengals and the Bears after prime time. Back to you, Chris.
Week 10 in the NFL season. Could it be the final time we'll ever see Lawrence Taylor on the football field? Let's hope not. But an injury suffered by him today by the Giants game against the Green Bay Packers will show you exactly what happened and have doctor's diagnosis. Still to come, all the highlights in a rollicking Week 10 where the big guys looked awfully big, except occasionally Dan Marino showed that he indeed is human. Stay with us, please.
Tonight's analysis is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance.
The Acura Legend was ranked best overall model at 3 years ownership in the J.D. Power and Associates Vehicle Performance Study.
And by Anheuser-Busch, who proudly brings you Family Talk. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts.
We'd like to welcome those of you that have just watched the Denver Broncos up their home mark to 5-0 this year as they beat the Jets 27-16. We'll have highlights of that ball game a little bit later on in this edition of NFL Primetime. 2 weeks ago, the Miami Dolphins' run at an undefeated season was preempted, if you will, by Steve Entman and the Indianapolis Colts. Today, it was Miami's turn to see if they could return the favor. So we go to the Hoosier Dome. And it was Keith Jackson and Mark Higgs, the factors today for the Dolphins. Higgs, on a normally dormant Dolphin running game, goes for 7 yards. Dan Marino dumps it to Mark Higgs, makes a nice move here, and picks up 19. On the same drive, the pitch by Higgs, good blocking on the left side. That's where the Dolphins like to go, 13 yards. Tom?
Yeah, the Dolphins' offensive line surge moving left. If you watch right guard Harry Galbraith, he takes out Tony McCoy. Higgs able to see the cutback lane right there, get upfield, make a little something on his own at the end.
In the same drive, oh, let me tell you about Keith Jackson. Nice bullet by Dan Marino, 2-yard touchdown, 7-0 Miami. Next drive of the Dolphins, Marino, oh, he tells him again about Keith Jackson. Oh, nearly 17 yards. Then, Mark Higgs goes right this time. Good blocking. Page with a key block, 24 yards. Same drive. Higgs, rumbly, touchdown. 2 yards, 14-0 Dolphins. Mark Higgs today, 20 carries, $107 rushing, and you see 147 total yards. Steve Entman double-teamed early. His knee buckles on the turf. Looks bad, but fortunately only a strained knee ligament on his left knee. Second quarter, Jeff George, well, he wasn't on the same page as receivers. What? Billy Brooks in and out, he did it in. So enter Ron Stark, that famed passing combination of Ron Stark to Mike Pryor. And the trickery gets rewarded with a first down.
Yeah, and coaches always preach downfield blocking. Here you see a good block by Matt Vanderbeek, allowing Pryor to get the first down.
So Jeff George was fired up? No. Jeff George was all fired up? No. Vesty Jackson with the interception. Hey, the Colts are getting better. But the last 2 weeks, they've been shut out twice. This time, Marchibroda and George could only take their hats off to the Miami Dolphins, who shut out the Colts by the count of 28-0. Third time the Colts have been shut out this year. Marino, 22 of 28 for 245 yards. The Dolphins up their mark to 7-2. Meanwhile, after their close loss on the road last week at Pittsburgh, Houston obviously going to fatten up on Bill Belichick's Cleveland Browns at the Houston Astrodome. Warren Moon, this is the kind of day he was faced with all day, but good job here running. Unfortunately for the Oilers in the first half, that was about as good as it got offensively, 55 yards in the first half. Meanwhile, Mike Tomczak looked like the second coming of Otto Graham, Tom.
Yeah, you watched him on the play pass during the course of the day. He had a lot of time to look around, search up people, and throw the football, Chris.
Here's Metcalf. And then Tomczak to Metcalf again. And then the play action to the big guy, Leroy Horde. The only guy that can stop Leroy Horde, Dan Fike. Unfortunately, he too plays for the Browns. Second quarter, Tomczak, play action, pump fake. Look at Leroy Horde, nice tackle, not by Jerry Gray. Touchdown, 46 yards, hard to stop that big guy.
Yeah, and you saw the end of that play. You watched the first part of the play. This is what makes it right there. The pump fake, pulls the safety off, no help.
Warren Moon left last week with a concussion, certainly had problems. First down, no. Second down, the bomb, the running today. Third down on a pass coverage knockdown. Warren Moon threw for only 15 yards in the first half. On a 4th and 2 in the third quarter, Moon to Ernest Gibbons from
Louisville.
But Everson Walls forces the fumble. Stephen Orr picks it up, and guess what? He just could go all the way with a convoy. Touchdown, Cleveland.
And Chris, this may be a statement on the Houston Oilers season because the only guy who made a real effort to get to the ball was Warren Moon.
Warren today, 12 of 25 for 70 yards. So the commander, Cody Carlson, comes in and tries to find his new lost planet airman. That's Webster Slaughter with a nice catch for a touchdown. Could the Oilers come back? Well, Cleveland needs ground control And they also need ball control, so they go to the big fella, Mark Bavaro, 22 yards. So on 3rd and 9, you go to Mark Bavaro, a big first down. So why not go again?
Let's go to Mark Bavaro again. And I think one of the reasons Houston's had so many problems with the tight end, they have none on the roster in the run and shoot.
And they can't practice against them all week, and it shows. Oilers trying to regroup for next week. They lose 24-14 and a good effort in the 3rd straight road game for the Cleveland Browns. Usually an awful spot, but they beat the Oilers 24-14, and each team second place in the AFC Central at 5-4. And I'll tell you what, Houston had better regroup, because you know what they are on the road, and guess that's where they are the next 3 weeks. At Minnesota 7-2, at 7-2 Miami, then the short week in Detroit for Thanksgiving. They're not home until Pearl Harbor Day, Monday night against Chicago. And I'll tell you what, Tommy, Houston ought to be ashamed of themselves the way they came out flat today. And when they come back home on Pearl Harbor Day, they may be bombed out of the playoff race. I mean, that was pathetic today.
Well, I think we saw all the vulnerabilities of the run and shoot offense. One, you can get a tremendous pass rush on the quarterback because you have no tight ends. You don't have the extra back to block for the quarterback. So even if you don't sack him, you get a chance to hit him quite a bit. People are forcing Warren Moon to be very patient, and then the receivers weigh 125 pounds. So when you hit him, the ball is likely to come loose. And on the other side of the football, Bill Belichick, when he got the Vardells and the Hordes and the Kevin Macks together, people were like, why are you stockpiling these running backs? I think it's showing right now. You run the ball well, and then you play action pass.
That's their type of football, that's for sure. And Bavaro with a big performance, as you said. A nice job by Tom Zach. His co-star is very close to coming back a quarterback for Cleveland. Good job by Miami running the ball today, something they don't normally do. For their last 6 games, for example, they averaged barely over 80 yards a game. Today, with Higgs over the century mark, the Dolphins rushed for 212 yards. I mean, Dan Marino had a 12-yard run, the scrambler that he is. When we return, Chris Dolman, what a year he's had for the Vikings, and Lawrence Taylor, what a career he has had. Pair of 56s. We'll show you what happened.
Hey, Boomer, you better be ready. Tonight you're gonna see hungry bears. In your face!
Michael. The only thing that you and the Bears are gonna see is this in your face.
One game still going on in the NFL. Nick Lowry's 300th lifetime field goal with 54 seconds to go from 36 yards out. The Chiefs have gone back on top of the Chargers 16-14, and the rookie Dale Carter has just picked off a Humphreys pass. Looks like the Chiefs will survive at Arrowhead. We'll have highlights of that and the final shortly. All right, let's move to Minnesota, Tampa Bay. This tie, when the Vikings play the Buccaneers, it's an in-your-face tie for these two games. And you know what, Robin? Let's give Dennis Green the nod.
Please.
4 preseason games, 9 regular season games, 13 in all. His Vikings have been ready all 13 times. What a motivator
he has
been.
Kept them motivated throughout. Yes, an impressive in the early season, also in the preseason, but I tell you what, under Dennis Green, the Vikings lead the NFC Central by 2 games over the Bears. Now, Sam Weish, he had the Bucs fired up early in the season also. Back in week 3, he even had them close to the Vikings before losing by 6. But you know what? Vinny is on the bench now, and the Bucs are on the skids. Dennis Green, though, looking calm as usual. First quarter, Terry Allen goes for 6 yards to the Tampa 34-yard line. 3rd and 1. Tampa expecting the run. Vikings go with the play action. Mike Tice wide open. Gains 17 yards to the Bucs 17-yard line. Then 4 plays later, Roger Craig, he sweeps left. Goes 5 yards for the score. Vikings on the board first. The Vikings opening drive ate more than 7 minutes off the clock, covering 67 yards and 13 plays. Sam Weish trying to rally his troops, but Steve DeBerg, watch out, blindsided by Al Noga, and Carlos Jenkins scoops up the ball, goes 22 yards untouched for the touchdown. The Vikes' 3rd defensive touchdown the last 2 games, TJ.
Yeah, you watch at the bottom of the screen here, the right tackle, Rob Taylor, doesn't get the block on Noga, reads it late. Noga nails DeBerg from behind, ball pops out, and Jenkins gets an easy touchdown.
Tell you what, that Vikes team make things happen. Second quarter, Terry Allen leads the Vikings downfield. He breaks off the right side, breaks tackles, on his way to a 17-yard gain. Then Allen, hard running. 14 carries, 84 yards. He plows his way to the 11-yard line. Then Rich Gannon hands off to Anthony Carter, who scampers 10 yards for the score. Vikings leading 21-0. The Vikings with the ball control. 9 plays, 80 yards on that drive. Sam Wyche looking for some offense, TJ.
Yeah, defense strikes again, and what power and athleticism by Chris Dolman. Should I say stumbling, bumbling, bumbling down?
Do it all.
It's
Vikings
a
at least,
touchdown.
they had 1 interception in the last 9 games at least. Tampa, a little trickery here. You know, DeBerg goes for the sidelines, but they snap the ball to Reggie Cobb, but no fooling that Vikings D. Sam Wyche says nothing works against these guys. 35-7 is the final. The Vikings have won 6 of their last 7. The Bucs have lost 5 in a row. Roger Craig had a pair of touchdowns. The Vikes lost their shutout late in the game on Gary Anderson's short 4-yard touchdown run. Now with the Pats win one for the Gipper, or rather, Coach Mack. Patriot cheerleaders with a message for their ailing coach. Dante Scarnecchia hopes Coach Mack gets well soon, too. Jim Mora, maybe he's thinking a little bit about last week. You know, the Saints did hold on to beat the Bucs, but it could have been a lot worse. Quinn Early dropped this perfectly thrown pass from Bobby Hebert. Not this week, though. Quinn Early with a touchdown catch early, 7-0 Saints, and late in the first, Bobby Hebert connects with Quinn Early again, 14-0 Saints, just like that, TJ.
Yeah, and Robin, this is a great confidence builder. Hebert going back to Quinn Early. The play fake looks perfect. The only difference is Quinn Early, great concentration, and notice how he reached out and caught that ball with his hands, didn't let it get to his body.
A 39-yard score, the Pats punting. The Patriots recover deep in New Orleans territory. Then, miracles of miracles. Leonard Russell, an 8-yard touchdown run. Yeah, that's the Patriots' first rushing touchdown of the year. Saints come storming back, using everyone. Hebert, a beauty here to Eric Martin on the sideline. Then Torrance Small cuts against the grain for another first down. Hebert fakes to Dalton Hilliard. That was effective all day. And then he throws to Hilliard. A 12-yard score. He just simply trots on into the end zone. Hebert, 9 of 12 in the first half and 3 touchdown tosses. He wasn't done. Second half, Hebert hits Dalton Hilliard. He goes 27 yards down to the 1-yard line. Next play, Dunbar. He punches it in. 28-7 Saints. Scarnecchia, he'd probably like to leave. The Patriots fans do leave. A real L.A. crowd. It's just the end of the third quarter, but they had seen enough. 31-14 the final. The Pats fall to 0-9 on the year with their club record 10 straight losses dating back to last season. 5 consecutive wins now for the Saints. It's been almost 4 years since Bobby Hebert has thrown 3 touchdown passes in a game. You know about the Saints defense. Always been there. One of the best linebacking cores in the league. Morton Anderson, he does his part. The offense, in the missing link. Missing no longer. First 6 games with the Saints, 87 points. The last 3, just about as many, 84. Coming up, one of the payback games, the Cowboys in the Motor City. And the Lions, they took Michael Irvin for a spin. Chris has the highlights next.
Have a big letdown. No way. They were in Detroit, who twice pasted Dallas last year, including once 38-6 in the playoffs. The Lions knew if they were going to spring the upset today, it would be Barry Sanders, who's had trouble running the football this year, but early on he looked great. 15 yards to the left, and Barry Sanders to the right. My goodness, Tommy actually has blocking. 14-yard pickup.
That blocking provided by Lomas Brown, number 75, as you watch him at the tackle spot. On the left side, he pulls, he gets out in front. Look at him tell Barry, stay back, wait on the block, and then he starts swirling and whirling around. Actually gets 3 blocks for Barry to spring him for a few more yards.
So you might as well sting with Barry Sanders, right? His spin and everything else. What? No. We go to Rodney Peete, and quickly he's picked off by Thomas Everett, stopping the Lions' drive. Now, Michael Irvin missed the team play. He didn't start on the first play. He wishes he got there a little later because Melvin Jenkins spills him for the incompletion. Watch Jerry Ball in the middle just grab Dale Hallestray, the snapper, to create a hole for Mark Spindler. Well, they take off the field goal. Dallas takes the penalty, and it hurt the Lions because Emmitt Smith bounces outside. Touchdown, 7-0 Cowboys.
Yeah, Emmitt Smith starts to his right here, finds the good cutback lane. To his left, that's because of the double team block there on the nose guard, Jerry Ball. And he just trots on into the end zone.
Troy Aikman pumped up by watching Emmitt Smith run all year, and he pumps it deep to Alvin Harper, makes the nice sliding grab in front of Jenkins. And Emmitt Smith up and over the top, 14-0 Cowboys. Barry Sanders had 108 yards today, but it was on a day when it would pretty much all go for naught. trying to go the right side. Tripped up by his own man and gang tackled by the swarming new-look doomsday defense. Sanders goes left. Forget it. Dallas has him snuffed up. And then he's face masked but no call by Darren Woodson. Severi got his buck 8, but he paid for it. Another special teams penalty on the Lions. Usually things go their way in this building, but Melvin Jacobs tries to slow up. He can't avoid Kelvin Martin. Sets up interference, sets up a field goal. 20-3 Dallas at the half. Even Elliott kicked field goals today. Aikman, pump fake to Michael Irvin. He caught his plane. He caught this ball. He's marked down at the 1, which sets up the 3rd touchdown for Emmitt Smith. 27-3 Cowboys. Was that my touchdown? It doesn't matter. Emmitt, you got it. You got 67 yards. They gave Richards, who had 82 yards running into Emmitt Smith's relief, a rare sight. Rodney Peete, not a rare sight. He got hurt. Caught between Russell Maryland and Tony Tolbert. A pinched nerve and a concussion. Hopefully Rodney all right. Eric Kramer, the hero, twice against Dallas last year. Not this year. Jim Jeffcoat, the veteran, playing well. And this was the Lions fans' look today. Excedrin Headache, number 37, as in 37 points for the Dallas Cowboys. The only team in the NFL that's 8-1. Boy, they continue to impress. They're young. They come at you in waves. They don't have an off day. 37-3 as the Lions, last year's champs in the NFC Central, fall to 2-7. The Packers and the Giants at the Meadowlands. And as he did on Sunday night against Washington, Lawrence Taylor leading the Giant defensive charge. First quarter knocks down the pass by Brett Favre. Same series. He gets a sack on the youngster Favre. With the Giants leading 3-0. Special teams. Ed Reynolds blocks the punt of Paul Orange McJulian. Lewis Tillman picks it up. And that sets up another Favre field goal, 6-0 G-Man.
Yeah, you see on the replay here, right in the middle of your screen, Ed Reynolds comes untouched, gets the easy block, and Tillman makes a nice scoop of the football, Chris.
Now, Tommy, the Packers have taken a 7-6 lead on a touchdown run by Vince Workman. My way back to you, babe. And Chuck Cecil says to Dave Meggett, look at that little Meggett get hit. And then on the next play, the Hoss lays him out.
Yeah, and this is the kind of play that receivers always remember. The ball just hangs a little bit, leaves him off into coverage. And you discuss that with the quarterback when you get back to the huddle.
Chuck Cecil was no beanie on those 2 shots, that's for sure. Workman trying to keep the Packers' mo running, but the fat bell and the Giants recover. And they strike quickly.
Yeah, you watch the Giants' Stephen Baker here getting down on Terrell Buckley. The only mistake Terrell makes, he never gets his head around to the football. Stephen Baker does, and the catch.
And that leads to a Rodney Hampton 2-yard blast. 13-7 Giants at home at the half. Second half, more defense from LT. Knocks the ball down, but on the play. Watch the replay. The right foot, right there. Ruptured Achilles tendon, surgery Tuesday, out for the season. More in a moment. And as Bill Parcells said so eloquently, see Lawrence Taylor maybe leaving the stadium for the last time in a golf cart. Wow, that's a sobering moment. 12 years of brilliance for the Giants. Teammates fired up by the way LT was playing. And this time McJulian throws a pass better than Garrow, but still couldn't complete the pass for Mike Holmgren. Brett Favre trying to fire up the troops in the 4th quarter. And the pass is picked up by Pepper Johnson. Has he carried the ball much there, Mo, Larry, and Curly? Certainly. Still driving. Jackie Harris holds on despite the hit by Greggs Jackson. Favre's luck, though, runs out. Oh, don't walk away, Renee. It's Renee Thompson. Makes the move on Favre, and he could go all the way. 69 yards, 20-7, the Giants. 5 turnovers on the day for the Pack. Giants add another score at the end, and they're fired up. You know what? After a season that could be a disaster, 5-4, the Giants, as they beat the Packers by the count of 27-7. And Bill Parcells, of course, working for NBC these days, working a late game up in Buffalo, had these comments as he reflected on the career of LT.
I would have to say without question that Lawrence Taylor is by far the greatest player that I ever coached. And I think when you measure greatness, I think it has to be measured in a player's ability to inspire others, not just what he does himself. And in many cases, you know, I've seen Lawrence over the years just inspire his teammates and, in all honesty, inspire the coaching staff and Bill Parcells in particular with his great play and some of the things that he tried to do to help his team win.
Well, no one would know better, Tommy, what kind of player, what kind of person LT has been in his 12th year. I mean, the good news is that the doctor says his surgery, I mean, he said that shouldn't be the reason that he doesn't come back, but yet he was talking about possibly retiring this year. Talking about a man that innovated that position, LT certainly did, and you know some about that position.
Yeah, we're pretty good friends, and I think what LT did, to reiterate a little bit of what Coach Parcells said, yes, he inspired other players to play up above and lift their game a level. But I think the other thing that measures greatness, at least in my mind, is the consistency, because you'll see linebackers have great games or great seasons, but I think when you look at LT and you think about how good he was and for how long he was good, I think that's the measure of his greatness, and that's why he'll be remembered as I think the greatest outside linebacker to ever play.
And LT, it's interesting to note that as the Giants, I mean, he may not be there at the end of this year or beyond, but as the Giants continue their mild resurgence these days, it was the inspired play of LT the last couple of weeks that helped get them going again on defense. More on that at halftime of our game tonight between the Bengals and the Bears. As we go inside the numbers, Ray must stay. First 6 games, the Giants gave up 25 points a game. The last 3 total, the defense has given up only 24. Ray must stay. Ray must stay. Ray must stay. Should Randall get back, or should Jim McMahon be quarterback? Jimmy Mack had the shot today for the Eagles. Tonight, the fridge is on the loose. The Bears at home against the Bengals. Be there. Say, forget the election news this past week in Philadelphia. Nobody could care less, or very few could, I should say, because the headlines all over town was the quarterback controversy involving the Philadelphia Eagles and Rich Kotite's decision to go with Jim McMahon over Randall Cunningham for just 1 week at home today against the Raiders. Raiders' first possession. Todd Marinovich picked off by Eric Allen. So, with Randall Cunningham watching, Jim McMahon steps into the breach. Some confusion as Antone Davis so excited to give McMahon a good block that he goes off about 5 yards too early. A screen to Keith Byers loses the yard. Howie Long sacks Jimmy Mack. Would Jimmy Mack last? Well, hey! Not that good, huh, Randall? But even less impressive was Todd Marinovich. I mean, where's this pass? Wes Hopkins makes the pick. Second quarter, still McMahon struggling, leading 3-0 in 3rd and 11. He is sacked by Greg Townsend. But Jeff Philadelphia Eagles rolls out on the fake field goal. But no, they come up empty, but no. The Raiders with a penalty.
Yeah, stupid play by Andre Bruce here. He took 2-3 steps into the punter, Eagles. That's going to draw the flag every time.
And after the flag, Herschel into the end zone, a 1-yard run, 10-0 the Eagles. And there's Jimmy Mack and Herschel saying this could be our day. Todd Marinovich tries to rally the Raiders, but John, shake your booty.
Good throw.
Oh, real nice. Marinovich, well, he's bummed. Booty and the Eagles, they feasted on Marinovich's passes. Raiders second worst in football, turning the ball over, going into the game. So Art Shell made a switch. In comes Jay Schrader. His first pass, and all of a sudden the Raider offense has a new look. Zip to Tim Brown for 17. Then after a short run by Eric Dickerson, Jay Schrader, then nimble one. Scrambles for 6. Next play, the guy who is pretty nimble, Marcus, the high socks and all. Like the old days, 20 yards for Marcus, deep into Philadelphia territory. 2 plays later, Schrader. Alexander Wright. No, sir. The Raiders do get a field goal. So the score 10-3. Schrader says, come on, we can get in this thing. Rich Kotite looking across the field. Wondering if Jimmy Mack can get it going. And they try trickery, Tommy.
Yeah, we watched a series of plays here designed to do a certain thing. This first one is not designed to lose 14 yards, but Barnett gets caught inside to contain. But you watch Jimmy Mack here go back, step up nicely into the pocket.
42 yards.
Delivers the ball to Barnett. Now, what we're going to see here on the replay, you look in the box there in the middle of the field, there's nobody covering. Now we take a shot of it from the back of the defense. The corner thinks he's going to run the square, and right there he bites on it. Barnett takes him downfield. No help deep. That's how you get touchdowns.
17-3. Jimmy Mack with the visor, and Randall. Everybody excited. Philadelphia finally looking good. Randall Cunningham Watches as Heath Bar Sherman takes the handoff. 30-yard touchdown, the Eagles. 24-3 Philly.
Yeah, McMahon does a nice fake of the pitch right there, draws the defense outside. Heath Sherman spots a good cutback lane, breaks through the defense. The safeties are bitten up. One other person to run by Washington as he goes into the end zone.
Rich Kotite, Randall Cunningham, shaking hands. Eagles all over the Raiders, 31-10. Jimmy Mack, now 61-28 lifetime as a starter, 9-3 as a starter for Philadelphia. The Eagles beat the Raiders 31-10. Afterwards, obviously the topic for discussion in the locker room, the quarterback situation. Jimmy Mack says he's not concerned.
I'm not worried about whether I want a job or not. You know, I'm here on this team. I'm part of the team, and you know, I can't worry about what things I don't control. You know, I don't make those decisions, and when I get my opportunities, I want to make the best of them.
Who knows? I could have went out and thrown for 10 touchdowns, but nobody will ever know. But he has to do what he thinks is right, and I'm going to back him up because that's just my nature. You know, whatever the coach decides is what I got to go with. Jim did a good job. If Richie wants to start him, that's his. But I don't want to go in the game and then turn around, look over my shoulder and hear that he's coming in. I mean, if I'm the quarterback, allow me to be the quarterback. But if Jim's going to start this week, let us know up front.
Now, I'm going to answer it one time, Al, okay? I answered it 45 times. That Cunningham's playing next week, all right? Next question.
Short and sweet. Usually what Denver is at home. To their opponents, they were 4-0 at Mile High going into their game with the New York Jets. Elway, Nagel, Kenny O'Brien talking about throwing that pigskin. Nagel misreads the play, throws behind Altoon. Then Browning Nagel, the youngster, back into the fray after a week off. Try that dim rig. Then Nagel off the wrong foot. Underthrows Johnny Mitchell. John Elway's turn. Shotgun much of the first half. Early on, John was a little high and wide, overthrows Vance Johnson. Then off the fake, looking for Mark Jackson. No, so can the Broncos run the ball?
Well, they didn't even try to run the ball early, Chris. I think that's the point. They came out committed to passing the football today.
So what's wrong, John? Well, I'll tell you what. Not much. From deep in his own end, the frozen rope to Arthur Marshall. 80 yards, just like that. Elway strikes 10-3. The touchdown dance for Marshall, his first career TD. Now Consulat's team has added a field goal, 10-6. And Nagel comes out in favor of Ken O'Brien for the 2-minute drill. The pass off the hands of Freeman McNeil into the hands of Wyman Henderson. And he just could go all the way. Nice cutback into the end zone. Key play here in the final 2 minutes. Well, usually it's Elway doing the job. This time the defense does the job. 17-6 Broncos. Nagel. Play fake. And Rob Moore, 25-yard touchdown. It's 20-13. Nice concentration right in front of the goalpost. Then Nagel to Freeman McNeil. Freeman looked good last week, but today, boy, he really hurt him. Recovered by Lilo Lang. Elway back to work. To Marshall across the middle. A catch and carry. 24 yards. Sets up, oh my goodness, a run?
Yeah,
Greg Lewis.
Yes, and as you watch Greg Lewis here, he stopped, he stuffed. Watch the surge by the offensive line, and there he is underneath, and right there, the ball has crossed the plane.
Pete Carroll's young Chargers looked good last week against Miami. Winning at Mile High Stadium against the Broncos is another story altogether. The Broncos continue to be the pace setters of the AFC West at 6-3. They beat the Jets by the count of 27-16. But Tommy, obviously, let's go back now to the Philadelphia game against the Raiders. How do you think Jim McMahon did today?
Probably good enough to start if you had that decision to make.
Well, you don't have that decision. Rich Kotite did make the decision to start Randall next week, keeping his word. Good move or what?
Well, I think that when I spoke with the Eagles this week, Coach Kotite says no matter what happens, I'm going to start Randall against Green Bay, and I think he has to do that in order to keep his word. But I think that when he said, I want to take some pressure off of Randall, let him sit back for a week so that he feels more comfortable when he comes back into play, you may accomplish just the opposite thing, because now when Randall comes into the Green Bay game, everyone, including his Philadelphia teammates, will be measuring his performance against Jim McMahon's performance, and I think that relates into more pressure.
But if Randall comes through big, Kotite's already won the first half of his gamble. As we said on game day this morning, he had the guts to make the decision to jumpstart this team, which was in bad need of one. And now, if they get going under Randall and rolling again, they're back into the fray. Because as we all know, though Dallas looks good, it's open territory to get to the Super Bowl. Part one, a win for Kotite. We shall see. I admire the move that he made. Mistakes, mistakes. Well, The easiest stat in football. When you turn the ball over, son, you're going to be a loser. Look at what the Raiders have done in the 6 games they've lost. They've turned it over 21 times. They've been sacked 22 times. When we return, over. And the
little offense back then. You know, how bad was the Seahawks offense going into today's game with Washington? Well, Rick Tootin had more punts, 58, than the Seahawks had points, only 53. But Washington not better, much better when they had the ball. They have not scored a touchdown, an offensive touchdown, 11 straight quarters. Joe Gibbs' team looking for that elusive offensive touchdown. First half, all defense. Stan Gelbaugh's pass tipped and intercepted by Wilbur Marshall. Redskins ball, second play of the drive. Rippon picked off by Dwayne Harper. Seahawks get it right back. Second play of the drive. Stan Gelbaugh drops back. He's pressured by Marshall. He causes a fumble, and John Brantley recovers for Washington. But 3rd and 4, Rippon rolls out, going deep for Ricky Sanders, incomplete. Rippon in the first half only 9 of 14, 85 yards and 1 kick. Game tied at 3 at the half. Third quarter, 6-3 Washington. Rippon blitz, but finds Terry Orr, who goes 46 yards. He only had 3 receptions, but they went for big yardage. Then Rippon goes for the end zone. And he's almost picked off by Eugene Robinson, TJ.
Yeah, and this is where an offensive player turns into a defensive player. Should have been picked off, but Gary Clark goes up and makes the nice defensive play right there to prevent the interception.
Yeah, thank goodness for Chip Lowmiller. He came on with another field goal, 9-3 Washington. In the fourth, 14 quarters without a touchdown. Ernest Biner goes up the middle for 12 yards. Then Rippon to Terry Orr, who breaks the tackle, and he just tumbles into the end zone, 24 yards. Thanks to touchdown gods. 3 receptions, 82 yards for Terry Orr. 16-3 is the final. The Seahawks' 6th straight loss, their worst start in the franchise's 17-year history. Now for that update, Rick Tootin, he's punted 63 times. Seahawks have scored just 56 points. Now for the battle of the last place teams, the Cards and the LA Rams. Joe Bugle trying to find a way to snap the Cards' 10-game road losing streak. Cards scored first in a field goal, but in the second quarter, Jim Everett has passed to Henry Eller, 33 yards for the touchdown. Eller's first touchdown catch of the season. Take another look, TJ.
Yeah, you watch the zone defense right here to the left. It opens up, and Eller gets right what we call in the seam.
Third quarter, 7-6 Rams. Cleveland Gary gets hit by Eric Hill and fumbles. Ken Harvey recovers for the Cards. And then Johnny Johnson, he goes right for the touchdown from 6 yards out. 13-7 Cards. Chuck Nocta, he's seen happier days. Fourth quarter, Gary redeems himself with a fumble. Up the middle, just barely crosses the goal line for the touchdown. 14-3, Rams on top. But Gary takes a shot from Ken Harvey, fumbles the ball. Aeneas Williams returns the ball for the apparent touchdown. A penalty will nullify the touchdown. It's still the Cards' ball. 2:09 left in the game. Johnny Johnson, 10 yards for the touchdown. 2014 Cards. And the Rams driving. 54 seconds. Jim Everett to Cleveland Gary. 14 yards to the 37-yard line. 12 ticks left. Jock Jones, I kid you not, Jock Jones intercepts Jim Everett on the 9-yard line. And that would be it. Jock Jones, Joe Bugle, Dalton with your bad self. Cards win by a final of 20-14. So the Cardinals do snap their 10-game road losing streak. They vault to 3-6 on the year. Same record for the Rams. Are on a roll, if you will, beginning with 100-yard rushers. Heading our list, Thermal. That's right, Thurman Thomas. Big game. 37 carries, a lot of work. 155 yards and that 1 touchdown. Speaking of Thurman, how about that major AFC tilt? The Steelers and the Bills. Boomer has a
angle with the Bears in Chicago. Sunday Night Football in your face. And welcome back to Primetime with the Boomer of me. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills. With all due respect to the Miami Dolphins, who now are 7-2 and own as good a mark in the AFC as anybody, the winner of the Pittsburgh at Buffalo game today could own inside track on home field advantage in the AFC playoffs. Pittsburgh's been great. Let's face it. But the Buffalo Bills, been to the Super Bowl last 2 years, said to the Steelers, not so fast because the game was at Rich Stadium. Bill Cowher trying to settle his team down. A huge game. And Barry Foster, first game, first carry.
You know, Barry Foster's had some problems in the past fumbling the ball. He fumbles this one on the first play of the game, but he got it back. Then you see Barry Foster again heading in there, and Bruce Smith led a Buffalo charge. No game.
The Bills have felt that their run defense has improved. They're waiting for the offense to improve. And Jim Kelly throwing as well as he had in over a month. Fires one out to Don Beebe. Fires one to Thermal Thomas. Then, the bomb to James Lofton. Wide open, 22 yards, touchdown. Jimbo said, hey, fans, get off our back. 7-0 Bills. Steelers try to come right back. Neil O'Donnell to Barry Foster. Slips away for a nice gain before he's wrestled down. Now, the Steelers have two nice tight ends. The large guy, Eric Green, makes the nice catch with Matt Darby. Not Darby the dinosaur. All over him down to the 10. Then Barry Foster with a halfback pass. Broken up by Kelso at the last moment. The Steelers settle for a Gary Anderson field goal. Bill Cowher talking to the defense himself. Kenneth Davis in to give Thermal a brief spell. It's up about. But can't hold. The center recovers for the Bills. A big play. Next play. Kelly looking at Don Beebe. Last year, this combination ate the Steelers alive. Oh, but Beebe can't hold on. Looks like Beebe Rebozo. Kelly again, though, says, Don, I like you. He catches it, holds on despite the hit from Darren Perry. Then, for the second time this year, that famed passing duo of Kelly to Mitch Trurott. Touchdown. 14-3, Buffalo. 21-3 Bills end of the first half. Kelly looking for more at the bell. Hardy Nickerson recovers for the Steelers. This could have turned the tide. Because after one completion, they get an Anderson field goal at the gun. It's 21-6 at the half. Ron Earhart, the architect of the Steeler offense, trying to change things around. O'Donnell to Ernie Mills, 12 yards, touchdown. Steelers in business, 21-13. But Thurman Thomas, following the block by Will Wolford and company. He's never carried the ball 37 times. 155 yards for Thermal. Dick LeBeau says, no, you know what? Even though Thermal's running, we got to play pass defense. Dick, you're right. Lofton, wide open again on the same pattern, 46-yard touchdown. Kelly, 26 of 33, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Bills beat the game Steelers 28-20. They battled back, as is their wont. But 458 yards for the Bills offense said September is back. And Buffalo got out of their month-long doldrums, up their mark to 7-2, put the Steelers back to 6-3. Offense looks stellar. They haven't for a month. Meanwhile, you talk defense. What about the Lightning Bolts and the Chiefs? Bill Arnsparger and the San Diego defense, the best in the AFC. But a guy named Derek Thomas plays pretty good defense for the Kansas City Chiefs. Knocks the ball, goes to the outside. Humphries loses the football.
Yeah, tough first half here for Swain. You see Thomas go outside to register his second sack. Then he just uses the pure speed right there. And that's his best rush, I think, the pure speed. He's just quicker than every offensive tackle he's going to face in this league.
He goes around the right side, gets Humphries again. Tommy, his arm moving. Another fumble. Leonard Griffin recovers 4 sacks first half for Derek Thomas. First half alone, 4 sacks. KC leading 3-0 in the second quarter, 4th and 1. The ball in the 6, you give it to Koya. No, it's the play action for David Craig. He's going to keep it himself a dive for the first down. That sets up the Nigerian Nightmare. Touchdown, 10-0, Kansas City. Marty Schottenheimer finally smiling. His team has struggled lately. Meanwhile, the Chargers in the second quarter, Stan Humphries to Nate Lewis. It's a touchdown. What? There's a flag on the play. Just one of those first halves. Yeet for Stan Humphries, the AFC Offensive Player of the Month. But Bobby Ross says, you know what? He's come back before. And in the third quarter, you watch Humphries hits Derek Walker, 14 yards, and just like that, the Chargers in the game at 13-7. Humphries to Sean Jefferson. Nice bomb. 51 yards. Remember that smile? No, not there anymore for Marty. Beginning of the fourth quarter, save drive. Humphries to ex-Buffalo Bill Ronnie Harmon down to the 1-yard line. That sets up Marion Butt. It's a 1-yard plunge. 14-3 San Diego, 13.5 to go. What a comeback for San Diego. But the Chiefs, 2:06 to go on the clock. Willie Davis catches the Craig pass to the 25-yard line. That sets up for the 300th time in his career. Nick Lowry, a field goal, 36 yards. And the Chiefs lead 16-14. Dale Carter picked off a pass after the Chargers got the football after the ensuing kickoff. And Kansas City going to 5-4. San Diego falls to 4-5. The Chiefs sweep the Chargers. Neither win, though, was easy. We'll be back.
It's picked off. Intercepted at 30.
Incredible.
Bowman to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Minnesota.
Kenneth Davis, down a pass, tight end, good. It is good there to Mitch Barrett. Mitch Barrett, the tight end pass, and a beautiful fake to Davis. And the play was there. It always is.
Oh, it's a direct snap to Gary Anderson to the 3-2-1. He has a Tampa Bay touchdown.
Gives to Higgs, and Higgs slides to the outside, bounces off Pickett, and goes into the end zone. He looked like a pinball as he bounced off Pickett to the right, cut back to the left, and dove into the end zone.
He backpedals, he looks, he steps up, he's going deep for Barnett, who races, has a touchdown, Barnett! Right from McMahon, the Arkansas Press.
NFL Primetime has been brought to you by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does colors like Dockers. And by Nokia Mobile Phones, supplying cellular phones to the world.
Thanks for watching this edition of NFL Primetime. We're all revved up because we've got Sunday Night Football from here to the end of the regular season on ESPN. Next Sunday's game becomes intriguing. 6-3 Denver against the 5.